Hello and welcome to another episode from the Honest Football Podcast, where we bring honesty back to the beautiful game. I'm Craig Savage, and with me as always is Daniel Cody and Charlie Betts. In this episode we're talking about the impact of football injuries, and it's round 2 of the prediction game.
But before we get started, let's have a quick shameless plug. We're going to talk about an upcoming series, You Are The Ref. A bit of midweek fun where Craig and Charlie will guess through a scenario of refereeing incidences. We've got Keith Hackett, referee extraordinaire, who has given his answers in the book You Are The Ref, signed by Howard Webb, World Cup final referee. So that'll be coming soon. Please make sure you check it out. We have certainly had a lot of fun recording it. But on to today's show. What's the topic to start with, Craig?
And we move on to our topic of the day, is the impact of football injuries. All three of us here at the Honest Football Podcast have had significant injuries. Daniel, you had a broken ankle or something like that?
So I had a double leg fracture and ruptured ankle ligaments. So the classic double leg break with the ankle ligaments.
So obviously this happened when it was just pre-season.
First day of pre-season
training.
In a pothole left by a caravan.
it was fairly innocuous, would you say?
I put my foot out to stop we had cones out as the goals because we were low level Sunday league.
Yeah.
Put my foot out to stop the ball, and that's it, just an awkward landing, as they so often are, to be fair. They're never normally crunching tackles, are they?
So you didn't feel anything like, at first, you heard it, I heard it. It sounded like it was like shin pad on shin pad contact. But you went home.
Well,
I took you home.
You kindly drove me home, and I spent the 10-15 minutes convincing you that it wasn't broken, so you would just take me home.
I imagine it's like when at the end of these, when we record these, and it's like, Dan, drop lift home. He's like, no, I'm fine, mate. Honestly, no, I'm fine. It's like, so Dan, your leg's bent at a right angle. No, I'm fine, mate. Honestly, I'm fine.
So yeah. I mean, I guess we will do a brief summary of all of our injuries and what came about from them. But I guess the main part for us today is to talk about the impact they had. Yeah. Because we all know about the injuries and the recovery process and sometimes the physio and things related. But you don't see, and often a bit isn't talked about, is the mental side, obviously, which is more aspect now. The physical side it has in other aspects of your life, particularly in terms of getting fit, and also other health conditions that can go wrong just as a result of the injury. So I guess moving on from the injury, I mean, everything in terms of the basics was fairly simple. I went to hospital, had the operation, had it reset, everything was fine. The recovery was going well, the physio was going well. But obviously, it has other effects as well. So the first effect, and I know this is going to probably be the biggest laugh for you two, because there are two types of people in the world. Some who like food, some who don't.
No, it's interesting. I was going to talk about that.
Because you've had the same as me here, whereas Craig hasn't.
No, but I think, do you know what it is? I was reading something today in sort of preparation for this, and it's basically in America, like they did a study on college athletes, and when they suffer significant injuries, like snap ligaments, leg breaks, etc. And some people go down the route that me and you did, which is, right, I'm going to carry on eating the insane amount of food that I was.
It's pre-season, I've got to keep eating.
Yeah, but because I'm not burning it off, because obviously your leg's either in a cast or, do you know what I mean, you're on crutches for 6 weeks or whatever it is, but you carry on eating at the same level and then it just piles on. Or some people then go the opposite way, which I think is to do with their sort of their approach to sport, that they don't deserve the food but they don't eat as much because they don't feel like they've earned the right to, because they haven't done the workout, they haven't done their training, and I know that's they talk about college athletes in America, but I think the same applies for low Sunday league footballers. If you don't go training on a Wednesday night, you probably think, I haven't earned that. Well, maybe not with you, Craig. I mean, you have KFCs every Friday, regardless of whether you've got a leg, 2 legs, or do you know what I mean? But that sort of thing, that some people would punish themselves in your situation when you obviously snapped your ligaments in your knee. Some people would have punished themselves and gone, right, I can't have any KFCs, I can't, and almost get borderline. I know, talking about mental health and stuff, start to look up towards bulimia and eating disorders and that sort of thing, and it's a real serious what's the word, like, not spiral, that's the wrong word, but do you know what I mean?
And I guess that's the thing. So that's probably a situation, like, as you say, that happens more leaning towards professional athletes, where they've got such targets to meet in terms of body fat and percentage like that, and it's the only way to keep it up.
But the things with professionals, obviously they get to go. Obviously, once they've had their operation and they start their rehab, they can go to rehab, do the
rehabilitation.
Yeah, that's the word. They can do it every day because obviously that's their job.
Yeah.
Where obviously, like ourselves, where we have to do like our 9 to 5 job.
Correct.
And then if you want to go to the gym, like if you're too tired to go to the gym, and then you get to the point, I can't be bothered to go, and then I'm just going to relax. And
it sounds horrible, because I'd quite like to go quite deep into the impact of injuries on people of our sort of standard. If you're like the elite level, you have performance coaches, you have the operations are to get them back playing. When we have surgery in the NHS, and the NHS is brilliant, but it's not to get you back playing sport. It's to get you to be able to function in your normal capacity.
Well, the thing is, obviously, the professionals, obviously, they go private, and then they have their operations within like 2-3 days after they have their operations about 2-3 days after their actual injury once swelling goes down. For us, as you said, with the NHS, it takes about 6-7 months to a good year to get a
But what I mean is that so when I snapped the ligaments in my knee, I found that actually the rehab, and it's important, but it was so mind-numbingly boring. Like the really early stages, when your legs are like 3 times the size it was before, and you're just having to sit there and just leg raises.
Leg extension, the little rubber band things.
And if you've got, but what I mean is, if you're an elite athlete and you've gone to the training ground, which you've probably been picked up to go to, you've got a personalised coach who's there.
You get a bit of a social element.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas I was in my living room trying to watch TV, and in the end, and I know for a fact that some of the complications I've had off the back of my injury have been because I didn't do the rehab properly, and I'm the only one responsible for that. But I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I was definitely affected my positivity toward exercise, because I just thought this is absolutely pointless.
You actually lead to a really good point after mine, which is about 4 weeks later I was booked to go to watch cricket in Manchester, which obviously is half the country away from where we are.
Yeah.
And obviously going up on a train was a proper palaver, and obviously it costs you a lot more money in taxis and things, which you think, because normally you just hop on a bus, go for a walk.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of thing that when you're working class you've got to think about as well. But the sort of catering for that at sporting events, there's disabled sections as such, but if you're just in a temporary situation, there's not really a catering for it.
No, I totally agree.
So I was still going up like 15 flights of stairs. I couldn't handle it, do you know what I mean? But then after that was it. I said, I can't go to football, cricket and things until I'm done. Until I'm off crutches, I can't do that.
Yeah, I was quite different because when I first got injured, it was like, I went to watch them the next day. Sorry, next day. I went to go and watch them the weekend, and obviously I wanted to stay. It's a weird thing because you want to stay involved, but then you want to. Obviously, you feel so bad because you want to get. Obviously, you want to play, and it's hard to watch. Even after the operation, I went to go and watch my own team play, like 3 days later, and it's obviously you get the sympathy. Oh, you're on crutches. Oh, how'd the operation go? But you want to be out there. Like for me personally, after the first injury, because the team was doing so well, we were on for promotion.
Do you know what? I'll be honest, and this is. I know I sometimes come with sensational stuff, and I don't mean like this, but I actually genuinely went for a period of mourning afterwards, because I'd like, for all three of us, football was our life, and playing football was such a major part of our childhood, our sort of teenage years, and then to have that just ripped away without your sort of choice. And in fairness, I know you're back playing, and this is not to patronise, I know you're back playing, but you were a first team regular in this sort of South Mids Prem, and I know you're back playing a bit here and there, but it's not the same level.
No.
And obviously the impact of that, and that's the long term effects of the injury that you've had. So what I'm saying is that I was like a loss to me. It was like something had almost died a little bit.
But Craig mentions a really important thing on the social side actually when we went to football, because particularly on the Sundays we went and watched a few games early in the season, because the year before we'd done really well. We were the two centre halves in a good team. We won't go through the Charlie situation. But the key thing is, when you're there, the first thing is, how's your leg, how's this, how's that. You don't actually talk about football, the thing you love. No one wants to talk to you about football or just have a general conversation about the games you watched yesterday on the TV or going to Luton or whatever it'll be. It's how's your leg, and you don't actually talk about your passion.
Do you know, the thing
That's
is,
the thing I found hard.
The weird, it sounds, I say sound weird, but it doesn't sound weird. But that season when we got promoted, CREWE got promoted, I still feel like a bit of regret in there.
Yeah.
Because we started that season so well. We won the first 13 league games, and I'm not saying like big head or anything like that, but if I stayed fit throughout the whole season, I think it would have been a lot tighter, like title race.
Yeah.
We probably might have won the. I'm not saying because of me, but some of the goals that I watched after I got injured, the goals we conceded, I think that could have been preventable if I was there. But
see, you're really good. I think you were both good. For me, when I did it, I couldn't go for ages. I just couldn't go. If I can't get actively involved, I can't do it.
Yeah, but then I had the other side of that. I knew if I didn't stay involved in terms of going to watch the social element, I knew that would knock me back.
I couldn't not like go and watch because I didn't want to sit like on the couch or
it's
lay
still
in
passion,
bed.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
I didn't want to sit on the couch on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I know I could easily watch soccer Saturday and watch Jeff and the boys, which is not a problem at
No,
some time.
no,
but to do that every week, it just took the life out of me. It's like,
I'll be honest.
I have to go and watch. I would travel up around the area where we are of Luton, but like to go down London to go and watch the boys, and even like even getting back playing, you still feel great to get back to playing, but then having that relapse of the same injury 6 months after you've come back to your first game.
That's where you're different to me.
Well, that's where it hurts more, because like and you know the second, you definitely know the second, like, as soon as you know it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I feel like you just knew straight away, and then you're punching yourself, and not literally, but literally punching yourself, like, why is this happening again?
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing is, I can't really even compare to that position, because I've never probably got playing back to a competitive standard since. Because one, partly a confidence thing. Secondly, probably never regained anywhere near the fitness, because that's the hardest thing is that away. Yeah. Because as you mentioned with Craig, yes, because he was at a higher level than us before, he could then go back in at a lower level and still be playing competitively. No, I agree. Whereas for me, I was a Sunday League footballer at that stage. Where do you go from there? It's down to rebuild your fitness. No, where do you go? We were playing in a mediocre Sunday League. I can't go down and get my fitness anywhere. No. And at that point, you're either doing laps round a town or a park or whatever, which there aren't many parks left here anyway, which is a problem. But how else genuinely do you get your fitness back? How do you get the social element back? So you miss that.
The thing is, they say 5-a-side nowadays is the way to go, which I personally don't. But if somebody's trying to like build themselves up again, that probably might have to be the way to go.
But
then you're relying on 10 friends to be fit at the same time.
And then the complications of that, I played 5-a-side a few weeks ago and rolled my ankle. And obviously my initial injury wasn't an ankle thing, but your first thought then is, oh shit, not this again. And it's something I wanted to build on what you say, is that confidence thing. Like I think I've played like 3 or 4 games, and that was just because the previous team I coached with shorter players and 20 minutes here, whatever. And it is that confidence thing, in the sense of I don't think you ever completely trust your body the same again. The moment I get like a little knock now, my first thought is I can't do another 6 weeks.
Mine's not actually the injury I don't trust. The injury I'm absolutely fine with. The problem is because I've never built the muscles back up again. I can't just go. I walked half an hour from my house to yours. Yeah. And I can feel my hamstrings.
Yeah.
I've never had a hamstring problem in my life.
Yeah.
No, I wake up in the morning, I've got calf strains. That shouldn't happen.
I always wake up with a bad back. That's just because my left knee's not as strong as it should be. Yeah, I'm compensating the right side. But like, I know I've played games on a Sunday and the odd Saturday since after the second knee op. But
you never played regularly since?
No. I've played like once every 2 weeks. Because so my body can recover. Yeah. And 2 is I think it's a bit more of a mentality thing as well, because I always feel that after this next game could be my last ever game. Yeah. Like one bad knock, like either a stupid tackle by myself, which that doesn't happen, or he did for the second injury, but or someone goes in on me, and that's it. Not just my own football career is over. I cannot be walking again. Yeah. So I have that in the back of my mind, like. This could actually potentially be my last game.
And it's impossible to play at your best.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say. It definitely changes the way you play.
It changes the way I play. And I have to, obviously, I'll compromise.
And do you know what I found, if we're quickly jumping in on that, is the few times that I have played, or if I've got involved in training sessions or whatever, and maybe it's just me, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but there's times when like I played in a game towards the end of last season, and a bloke went past me, and it's not an egotistical way, but he wouldn't have done me in the way that he did 2-3 years before that. But my body physically couldn't get, and that's got nothing to do with age, because I was 28 at the time. It's because my injury prevented me from getting back to that level of fitness that I was before, to get back to do what I couldn't do a lot, but I could jump quite high, but I was losing headers that I should never lose, and that for me, that rocked my confidence. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. If I'm getting done in the air by him, that's me finished.
Yeah, I had that a couple of Sundays ago. So we're playing against a quick side anyway, and I played an offside call, which on a normal day it'd be perfect, but obviously. In my head, obviously they just ran past it. Yeah. And then 2 minutes later, guys gone past again. And I normally, if you obviously haven't seen me play, obviously I'm quick. I was quick.
Yeah, no. Definitely.
And I thought, I've definitely got it. And the guy's gone past me, and I've clipped and I'll give away a penalty.
But that's the thing
and
for me.
After that, I'm like, I don't think I've got it.
You asked my missus. I went into I did a few sessions for a different club last year, and I got involved for like 10 minutes 5-a-side, and I got like lads going past me that just had no right and never would have done before that. And that put me into a proper low. Like I wasn't.
Can you accept the limitations?
Yeah, I wasn't in tears, but I was like this. I was never a great player, but you know what I mean. I was at a particular standard where stuff that happened there shouldn't be happening. You know, it just shouldn't have happened. No, I wouldn't have done this, and that properly like affected my outlook at my work and stuff like that.
That's where it's injury specific, because obviously you two are mainly knees, which is going to affect, and the main one you mentioned, ability to jump. You lose so much. Whereas for me, ankle, that's the first thing I noticed is turn. I can't turn because you can't put your pressure on that foot. And if you're a right-footed player, you'll always go that side on, and I can't turn back. So that pivot, I've already lost a yard. I didn't have a yard to lose.
I know exactly what Charlie means about obviously you losing that little bit of pace. Like,
I definitely didn't have pace.
You didn't have pace. No, but like, it's
not the pace so much; it's the agility.
But yeah, the thing is like. So obviously, I sometimes take part in Charlie's training sessions against my own my players, and obviously who are a lot younger, some like 18, going on like mid-20s and that stuff. And then to get the younger lads trying to get past me, and then I have to the old Italian football way, just pull them by the shirt and anything like that, just to stop him. Like I wouldn't have done that.
No,
2-3 years ago.
I don't know about your
because obviously in my mind wise, I would have my position would have been great. I know where to go. Yada.
But I think that tests your mental strength, and that's the bit I found, and that was the bit that I always found. That if I was to, you know, I think I've been very blessed. I've never really suffered with mental health in the sense of, you know, I'd get low periods, but a lot of that would come from those sort of scenarios where it's not being able to do what I did before.
But it's the social element. We always talk about it with football.
And if I'm honest, you know, maybe I shouldn't be saying this on air, but, you know, obviously working with you, Craig, you know, I haven't been at a lot of games recently, and part of that is I can't cope with the fact that I'm not playing anymore. And one of the best things I loved about when I was playing football was that buzz in the changing rooms beforehand. And no matter what anyone says, when you're the other side of the fence, and you cannot
coaching in a training session.
It's a lot harder.
When you're coaching in a training session, you can still be part of it. You can make a change. You can stop to say your position needs to be in a match. You can't have that.
That's what I was literally saying earlier. It was like,
and you said that as well the other week.
Yeah.
And if I'm honest, I think part of the reason, you know, I've maybe taken a bit of extra work at the weekend, so I'm not at football, is that I find it easier to avoid that situation. Yeah. Because I used to come away. I probably didn't show it, and you know, quite often I didn't stay for a drink after the game and stuff.
You didn't.
And Louise will tell you it really rocked me. Like I'd come over and I'd be not in tears, but I'd be like, I can't get the same buzz. And
but that's why
it probably affect me for the whole evening.
That's why I went the opposite way and started going to watch a lot more professional football. Yeah. Because it's a standard. In my head, you're saying, well, I could never achieve this. This is a different world. I would come and watch professional sport even when I was a player. So this is completely separate. And that's sort of your way of staying involved in the passion, but without trying to losing something.
I
think me and Charlie have had this conversation, like, and my other joint manager Richard, we had this conversation like, oh yeah, you can play in here. And I'm like, I know I could, but I don't want to. And it's not because I'm scared of doing it. It's obviously now I've got the manager's hat on, I want to give the younger ones more of a chance than me actually playing. There's one week I was going to do that because they were crap the week before. But my head was like, no, I want this player to play, or I want this player to play, just so I want to help them rather than render their chance of actually playing some football. So obviously I'll do it on a Sunday because Sunday football is totally different to obviously a Saturday football.
But for you, that's the natural next level down, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. So obviously for me at the moment, I'm grateful that I'm playing football now. Yeah. I shouldn't be.
No, but I think that's the difference, and that's why I think you probably cope with it a bit better. Is you still get that buzz in there, because that for me, like as great as it was playing football, and I loved it. That 10 minutes just before you go out to warm up, you know, when you're taking the mickey out of each other, or you know, so and so's got their shorts on back to front.
Breakfast on the
way. That sort of thing. You just, you know, whether it be at work or with your friends, you can never replicate that, and that is such a unique thing about competitive sport. Is that 10 minutes before. And I think you can still get that, and I think that's the bit I've found genuinely the hardest. And I've tried
essentially what this is for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Realistically, it's the reason it started when we were all injured.
I think like
and to try and get that element of that, and I think
I understand what he's feeling, but I still get nervous for a game anyway.
But if I'm honest, that was my choice because I don't want to be a manager and I'm not a very good one, whereas you are. But you're your neck's on the line a bit more. It means more to you. You've got more at stake than I have, and therefore probably you're invested in it more. Which then means for me, I can't replicate those same feelings. And if I'm honest, I think it's taken me a very long while to get over. And I'm sure my wife will tell you about that. That Saturdays were an awful. When I was on the crutches. Mm-hmm. because you're so used to competing every week, whether it's a Saturday or a Sunday, you know, that competitive thing, and you know, people talk about it being an outlet, and it genuinely is, to just, not about the winning and losing, but just competing against someone, out-thinking someone, outworking someone. And when that's taken away from you suddenly, it's a horrible place to be in.
When I was recovering from mine, I have to work weekends just so I wasn't around.
Yeah, it's so difficult, and I just think that, you know, there's lots for mental health to do with professional sports, and rightly so, because it's their job at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. The difference being that, my industry is fairly safe if you get injured, but there's a lot of other industries where if you get injured and you're off work for 6, you know, I was off for 6 weeks when I did my knee, then 6 weeks when I had the op. You know,
you've led on to something that I actually wanted to ask you two about, because it's probably the biggest difference lifestyle wise between my injury and your two, which is you two are both in professions where you need to be able-bodied to go to work.
Yeah.
So you needed to be recovered before you go back. You had the 6-8 weeks off. My biggest probably difficulty, but also blessing in a way, was that a week and 4 days later I was back at work. So as soon as basically the painkillers from the operation are worn off, I'm in an office job. You'll go back and you'll get wheeled in to do some basic admin. And yes, it's reduced hours because you're going to be asleep half the time, but seriously, the first thing, you were actually back. I was actually back amongst people within a week and a half, which I hated every minute of going to work. You know, I was getting a colleague having to come pick me up from my house and take me round the corner to work.
And it is debilitating.
But on the other side of that, otherwise for 6 weeks, would I have actually spoken to anyone other than the two people?
And that's where you've led on to an amazing point.
That's what I wanted to ask you about.
The thing, when I had the first injury, so I was playing football on a Wednesday night, and I went to hospital that evening, and then I said to Brangwell, I said, look, I can't go to work next day because my knee's buggered and I've been in hospital yet. But this was just before Christmas, and people who work in retail at Christmas, it's probably the worst time to be off because you need as many bodies as you can.
Yeah.
So I had a week off, and I felt bad. I was like, I can't let the people down because obviously it's Christmas week. It's coming to Christmas. But then going into work, I was in so much pain. I couldn't lift my leg up.
Yeah.
And I should never gone back.
And it actually led to a more extended.
I should never gone back to work. Yeah. I should have had more time off.
No.
But even after the second injury, like I'm walking at work and I just have to get out, and when I'm riding in pain. At one point, my manager came up to me and was like, "Can you jump on to a checkout?" And I was on one side of the aisle. And he said, "Can you jump?" I was like, "I can't get there."
Yeah.
And like,
see, for me,
what do you do?
Well, I was signed off for 6 weeks. So my head teacher said, you're not insured to come in. So I was literally locked out of school. So then, like you were saying, I was at home. Well, one of the weeks was half term, so my missus was here. But during the day, I was off for 6 weeks. And that drove me, like, I keep talking about wife, sorry, but she could probably maybe should have got her and testify a lot about this. But I got so angry because it's just...
That'd probably be a better show, actually.
Yeah,
we were in our households at the time.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And
I had to move out of house. I had to move out because I was living away from my parents at the time.
That's right, you were.
And after the first operation, I was like, right. Obviously, they live in a bungalow and they live about a minute away from the hospital, or I could go back to my own place, whereas I have to go up some stairs and I've got 3 other people who definitely want to look after me. So it made logical sense to go back to my parents' house. And after the first day, everyone had to go to work. There's just me lying in bed on my own.
And there's only so much of that.
I can't go and cook for myself because I can't walk.
And we're all quite active people, you know. Me and you tend to walk a lot. But you know, I was used to similar to you. I was used to walking, say, half an hour to work every day. I'd be on my feet a lot. You know, and suddenly that's taken away. And then you're sort of left here. I mean, my neighbour was brilliant. In fairness, he's retired, so he'd pop round every couple of days or whatever. But it's not the same. You can't replicate the social thing. And do you know what I think is difficult about that is when I then went back to work, that was fine, and then I had to have another 6 weeks off when I had the operation. And I'll be honest, I was shitting myself, not about the operation, but having another 6 weeks stuck at home. Because I just, it made me so angry, it made me very tetchy, it made me very...
I mean, I was only signed off for 2 weeks again because of the office job, but I had to ask, I think it was about 2 or 3 days before it ended, I said, I need to go back to work. I said, reduced hours, whatever, I need to just get outside at some point.
I took a total of 6 months off over 2 operations, but obviously it's all both times were in October going on to December.
Yeah.
And
that's like getting booked before Boxing Day.
Yeah, it's literally,
you timed it well.
Suspension. But like the first time, so I'm not going to go back to after Christmas. I want to get there. But the second time, I was like, I need to get back into work. And considering my job's not the greatest, and it's pretty stupid to go back before Christmas. But I need to get mentally back into work.
Well, I had the opposite worry because I was in a situation where I was, and this is where the element of being just a normal working person comes into it. So I'm responsible for managing people and managing areas of work, and I'm sitting at home thinking, the longer I'm off work, the worse this is going to be when I come back. Because I've got this and to catch up on. How am I going to do that?
Yeah.
And you get to that stage where you say, I can't afford to take more than 2 weeks off because at this stage I'm never going to be able to catch up. I'm going to be there 50 hours a week when I get back.
And I think it's
you can't think sanely at that point.
Yeah.
Your mind gets completely scrambled and you don't think like a sensible person.
No, and I think it's something to bear in mind, maybe more so from a sports perspective, because I think you got your, when you get injured, you got your own friends, but actually, I mean, since I did it, I've never really been involved with a team of someone else who's done the injury. But I think we then, because we're not elite sportsmen, we're not in elite clubs, maybe we as a grassroots sort of football need to be a bit more conscious of that and the impact it can have on people. And as a team, not just then, because football moves on. I mean, to be honest, mine wasn't even done playing football. That was the irony. I fell down some stairs and did it. Do you know what I mean? So it's, but football moves on like, the team. I think I was sort of in the process of leaving the team anyway, but that I was playing for at the time. But that was, I didn't get really anything from them. Your mates are brilliant, but I think you just need to be kept part of something. And actually, I think if you do run a Sunday league club or a Saturday afternoon team, it's so important if you have someone who goes through that, you just to keep in contact with them and keep that. Yeah. And that's maybe something to move forward on from this. But I don't know if the FA can maybe do a bit more about that. There's lots of charities like Mind and things like that that are brilliant.
It's something that's becoming very important in football now. It's only probably the last year or two that started to become.
It's not just at the elite level. I think we really need to put that focus on the grassroots level, because what we've just said, there's so many pitfalls for people like us. And I think we've been very lucky and blessed that maybe as part of our character we've managed to push through that. But I imagine there's so many other people who've slipped into other
and there are going to be some people who aren't as lucky with employers
gambling,
and
that kind
like
of thing.
Employers are
some people are like some players are self-employed. Exactly. Some like builders and that. So obviously they lose out a lot of money when they have these injuries. And sometimes some players will. Like I know as for my club CREWE, they've done one player last season broke his arm or something like that, so he couldn't work for about 3-4 months. And they've all whipped round to get all the players and the committee all whipped round to give him about 400 quid, so that covers him near enough for a little bit of time. So it's better than nothing.
Yeah, no, exactly. No,
and obviously for probably for him that mentally that probably give him a little bit of a confidence boost, because it obviously shows how people in the club are grateful.
Well, that's the area where we don't focus on, which is where we're fortunate. We're all in industries where we're relatively protected financially. If we're off unwell for a little while, we've got that backup in place where we don't have to worry the first month about the bills, because we know we're still going to get some sort of payment, which a lot of people, as you mentioned, don't have that luxury. The only thing I was going to move on to is other like health things that come from it.
Yeah.
Because like some of the things that you wouldn't even think about, like within the year after, like because my immune system was low over the winter, I then got glandular fever, which has knocked me out for probably 9 to 12 months.
Really?
And then even since then, like I've never been the same physical fitness again.
Yeah.
But even stupid things like that summer, I then got a vitamin D deficiency from a lack of sunlight. Something as simple as that.
I suppose actually, I hadn't thought of that.
And leading to increased fatigue and things. And you don't think as stupidly as shit, I'm sat inside for a month. Because I'm sitting inside work or inside my house. I'm getting funneled between them in cars rather than walking. I'm not walking to the shop afterwards to get a bottle of Coke or something. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And all those little things, and you just
that's amazing.
It's just stupid little things like that, and you don't think about it, do you? You think how would that ever happen? And just in 2 months, things like that change.
No. I think you bang on with that. I think there's a lot of side effects to that kind of thing, and even I know what you were saying about it's great sort of sitting there watching Soccer Saturday. It's not the same as being involved with a football team, but
it's not the same going out. Even in general, not just obviously going to the football, but it's like just going out in general.
But what I mean is
sometimes you want to hide. You don't.
Yeah, but what I mean is if you sit there in your living room and start watching Soccer Saturday, suddenly then to make it a bit more interesting, right? I'll bang a fiver on West Brom, and before you know it, I'm not saying that is the case of everyone, but it's quite easy to fall into that trap of like I'll be honest, when I was off the second time on my knee. There's a bookmaker's just round the corner, and I never gamble, but I go round to just take myself for a walk just to get myself out of the house, because I was signed off for 6 weeks, and by like 4 weeks I was off crutches. And then I just find I put not a lot, but I put a bit of money on some horses because I was bored, and it wasn't life changing amounts, and it was never bankrupt my house. You know what I mean? But you could see it if you're not careful.
if you've been in that situation for 6 months, that could
exactly. And there are people who would do that. I mean, you know, double leg break ligaments and all sorts. So you could easily fall into that. And I think
luckily I couldn't go for a walk.
No, I suppose
you don't need to anymore, though, do you?
That's the thing. So what I tried to do is then do a bit more. I don't know if it would help anyone hearing this, but I tried to do a bit more online sort of courses and studies that would help my job.
I started language learning.
That sort of thing, just to channel that energy towards something worthwhile. But I could see how you could easily fall into the trap of addictions, whether it be gambling, drink, you know, food, yeah, exactly, and whatever other addictions, you know, that people could. And I think it's something to be worth sort of thinking about, and engaging with charities and things like that who what's the word? Who specialise in that kind of thing. Because if you're not careful, you can, especially, and it's no disrespect, but if you're living on your own, I mean, I know you are living with a few friends and then you move back.
Yeah, but I knew living capable actually,
you know, with family and partners or whatever, but. You know, if you're so many lads we play football with live on their own or something like that, you know, you could easily fall into a very slippery slope.
You could not see someone for very long.
Yeah.
So I think it's I'm not saying it's any different if you're an elite footballer compared to.
No, well, you look like, for example, you look at Billy Keys, obviously just retired from professional football from Accrington Stanley. He's now joined Coalville Town, but obviously he's had mental health problems and personal problems with his family. And for him now joining Coalville Town is. That probably might give him a little bit of a boost again. It just makes it a little bit easier for him.
Yeah. And that's the thing, there's no right solution, is there? It's a different solution for every person. So as you said there, yours was I have to go and be involved and see the lads and go and watch the games. Charles' I can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
That would have been the worst thing for him.
Yeah, and if I'm honest, it still is now. And I still feel a bit. But I still struggle now massively, you know, and that's, you know, obviously I still do the training with CREWE, but I found the match day so hard, and that's unfortunately manifested itself.
But my biggest thing is physical fitness. Like, I've never played competitive sport since.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't want to, it's because I'm not of a good enough standard to support a Sunday League team. There aren't enough of us because of the injuries we've had fit to play 5-a-side. Like, even 2 weeks ago. So last Sunday, we were sat having an Indian buffet, weren't we, Charlie?
Yeah, that's true.
And we said, let's get a 5-a-side together. And this Friday, Charlie sat here with his dramatically ballooned ankle, and we're not going to be playing 5-a-side.
Well, he did say, look, lads, we'll go and play football on a Sunday, 2 weeks' time. And so obviously I couldn't go anyway because I'm away. But
well, the reality is though, then I was at work on yesterday, fell into a piece of gym equipment and rolled my ankle. And it's like 3 times the size. But that's it. Once
you've got one, your body's so much weaker then.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I pulled my hamstring about a month or so ago. And like, obviously, it's a hamstring where they've taken the tendon out to fix the ligament. So
you're naturally weaker.
And now I'm naturally weaker, and now I feel like a shock pain just like down my leg. I'm like, I'm never going to recover. And then I felt down about it, and I'm like, do I really want to play football again?
It definitely. The thing is, I think, you know, to sum it up for me, I think I actually had to grieve not being able to do what I'd spent. Well, when was that, 3 or 4 years? You know, 26 years of my life doing, you know, and you do grieve. I think if you don't, then you're probably in denial, if I'm honest.
The only other question I wanted to ask, genuinely, was, do you ever have that moment where you forget? Because, like, so I had an instance, so I'd had the crutches for 6 weeks, I had the boot for 6 weeks, it might have been 8 weeks and 6 weeks. But then about a week after, like, I was running a flu clinic at work. Yeah. And literally just something as simple as running 10 yards between the surgery door and the pharmacy door next door to us. And I just completely forgot for a moment that I had a dodgy ankle and I was in a boot last week. It was pissing down with rain. I thought, I better run here quick because I haven't got a coat or something. Yeah. And the first step I took, I went, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah. I mean, thankfully it worked out to be because the screw snapped off, which needed to happen. But like, literally, you just forget. Like, you just have a moment for.
Yeah.
Well, you spent
nothing there.
How many years before that without the injury?
I kicked the ball with the left. I just toe poked it, like, with my left foot. I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's easy. I think you bang on. Like, since I've had that op, I can't crouch properly. Like, I can't squat properly. I get to a certain point.
I can't.
Knee blows out.
Knee in front of the ankle, isn't it?
Yeah. So when
I can't actually go down to my 2 knees, like.
Yeah. So then I was doing a gymnastics lesson. This was only like 2 weeks ago. And I was trying to spring out from like a frog position, and I did it, and my knee, honestly, it was like throbbing, and it was excruciating pain, and my leg was just not having it. And you're right, you completely forget. And I just think it if you're not careful, and if I'm honest, you know, as I say, without going on about me too much, you know, I'd say I'm a fairly positive person, but if there's one thing that gets me down, it is the repercussions of such a. I fell down fucking 4 steps. Do you know what I mean? But it's like the repercussions of that. As it's life changing, and literally is life changing. I mean, whatever way you dress it up. not just the football side of it. We've just spoken about it all evening. The effect on your mental health, the effect on your work, the effect on your outlook on life in general.
Physical health afterwards.
You know, and I think we undervalue that, and not undervalue that, but what's the word?
Like,
appreciate the impact that an injury can have on you long term.
Yeah, because like at my time of my injury, I was probably playing my best football. And then
well, that's we were all
in our peaks at that point.
Yeah, like, you're playing your best football, and then you had your injury. I was playing my best football in my best season.
Yeah.
And then I get injured and Charlie just fell down some stairs, but in his best falling down the stairs moment. No, I'm joking.
No, it's true.
But like, I say, like it only takes 1 second for everything to like just completely change wind in your life, and I totally agree.
I'd never even like a muscular injury, anything. That was the thing I struggled with most. I know you'd always had muscular injuries.
Yeah.
To be fair, I never had a muscular injury anything in my life. So I had a few back spasms at about 14. That's it. I never had any muscular problems, and then suddenly that's why I just thought it can't be a leg break or something. I don't break.
Yeah, you just don't.
I don't break. I've never broken.
And what was weird about yours was it didn't look like a leg break. You heard the noise, but it didn't look like a leg break. It didn't look like it at all.
I think it's I don't know about you, but there was like a watershed moment, and this is I don't care if it's graphic to be honest, but you know, one week I was playing football against you. I think I was playing against Crawley. You know, it was the year I did that was you know, it wasn't anywhere near as good as your team, but it was the highest standard I played for a while on a Saturday, if at all, to be honest. And then the next, like 3 weeks later, I'm getting loaded into the bath by my wife because I can't get in my own bath. Do you know what I mean? And it was just that, and they were both on a Tuesday evening, and you've gone from that to playing not in front of a lot of people, but under floodlights on a Tuesday night, etc. To then 3 weeks later, I can't even get into my own. I can't even get in bath.
It was even like, do you know what I mean? For holidays we have booked in the summer, and it's only got a bath, and you have to buy like a protective thing. Stupid little things like that. Do you know what I mean?
Because I can only get into the bath on my... because of the shower screen and the taps, I have to enter at a certain angle, and the only way I can do that is to put my left leg in first, and my left leg that I did. Do you know what I mean? And it's just... that was one of the few times that I did cry in that process. And I just felt like I was useless.
It's the call to your mates as well. So like when I said I was going to cricket, I had to phone mate and said, look, I need you to carry my bag halfway out the country because I can't carry my bag. I can't carry myself to start with, but I can't carry my bag. It's stupid things.
And I think you know, I don't want to go too much down a rabbit hole, but being blokes as well, as I know there's a lot of talk about blokes and mental health. I think it is a bit hard. You don't want to show a weakness. You don't want to show that you know.
Well, let's be honest.
Effect it's had on you.
The easiest way to say that is we're talking about this now. We've never had this conversation before.
No.
And we were playing in the same team at the time that happened. All three of us.
Yeah, that's true. Actually.
Yeah. And we never spoke about it.
And it is so important you talk about it because I think I've learned a lot about both of you and what happened. Do you know what I mean? And you know the impact and the fact that it doesn't really go away, does it? You know, when you have pull a hamstring, tear a hamstring. That's one thing. To like properly do serious injuries and basically finish your career, which it has. You know, it's got a lot to answer for. But yeah.
Please talk if you ever have any problems.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think to finish off, I don't know what you boys think, but yeah, it's
okay not to be okay.
Yeah, and if you are, I suppose if you're involved in a club at a more senior position like a manager or something, it's not to just completely then scrap heap anyone.
Talk to your teammates, you'd be surprised what you find out.
Yeah, and don't just scrap heap people who get injured. You know, keep in contact with me if they're on the 16 that you use on the Saturday, do you know what I mean? So...
And now it's time for round 2 of the prediction game, where I pick 3 games each week. Well, it's not each week because we haven't done it for a month. And guess the correct score. So it's 3 points for a correct score. For example, if we went for 1-0 Manchester United and it finished 1-0, that is 3 points.
Craig saying it because I think that's what he predicted.
I probably didn't. Right. 1 point for the correct result. So, for example, if it finished, I said 1-0 Man United and it finished 2-1 to Manchester United, it's 1 point. And 0 points if it's completely wrong.
Yep.
So we've done one round for FA Cup third round. We did Millwall versus Newport County. It finished Millwall 3, Newport 0. I guessed 2-0 to Millwall. Charlie guessed 2-1, and Cody went for 5-1. So we all get a point each.
Fantastic.
The second game was Oxford United versus Hartlepool, which ended 4-1 to Oxford. I correctly guessed 4-1.
You did.
Unbelievable.
Charlie guessed 3-0, and Cody guessed 2-0.
Yeah.
So 3 points for me, 1 point for both of you. And the last game was Wolves versus Manchester United, which finished 0-0. So we didn't get any scores right. So if you see on the table on the screen, I'm leading with 4 points. Charlie and Cody are both on 2. So we move on to this round of the prediction game. So the first game we are going for is in the Championship. It is the 12:30 kickoff between West Bromwich Albion and Nottingham Forest. I'm going to start with you, Charlie Betts. What did you go for?
I have gone for 2-1 West Brom. Only because I think they'll win.
Good.
I'm not going to
Cody,
pretend.
what do you think now?
No, I'm not going to pretend. No, there's no point me waffling. I'm not going to pretend that I know what I'm talking about. Just that Forest got beaten by Charlton
Midweek, yes, they did, yeah.
So I think maybe could be the start of something. I haven't watched them live. Not a bad team, but I'm going
Yeah,
with
you did watch Forest live. You did vlog there a few weeks ago, you know. Cody, who did you go for?
I went for 2-2. So the reason I've done so is obviously West Brom until recently on quite a long winless run. Then thankfully for them, they played my beloved Luton Town and managed to get themselves back on a winning streak. Surprise, surprise, Luton Town on the road, as we saw at Forest a few weeks before, who were their opponents today. So the main thing for Forest is they've generally been in very good form. See, I've got a bit of a problem with Lewis Grabban actually. I'm just going completely off tangent here. Okay, so Lewis Grabban. Every time I see something on the TV or I see a game that I haven't been involved in watching, everyone says brilliant championship striker, he's scoring goals galore.
I think I said that in the vlog, he's a brilliant championship striker.
Every time I've watched him, he's been crap.
Yeah.
I don't think he played midweek. I think he's injured.
I back you on that. Against Luton, he got
very
the
quiet.
penalty,
Yeah.
He did nothing. But then did you see the penalty he missed the week after? I mean, it was ridiculous. And Kennel throwed earlier in the season, he missed an absolute sitter. But he is a good player, but obviously, as you mentioned, he was injured in midweek. But I just think West Brom not in the best form aside from that Luton game. Well, they did get a couple of decent results since. And Nottingham Forest just starting to slip out of form again. So I'm just balancing the difference, saying they're both out of form, so possibly a draw. What about you, Craig?
I've gone for a 2-0 West Brom win.
2-0.
I know you're saying that West Brom have been a bit out of form, but the West Brom have won the last 3 games, mainly because of the start against Luton Town.
But it was a 7-game winless streak before.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Championship, no one wants to take strides on it. Like I watched West Brom against Millwall last week when it was Storm Chiara or whatever it's called, and I thought West Brom was superb considering the conditions and that.
Yeah, I agree.
And they got a good win at midweek against Reading.
Yeah.
Forest surprisingly lost to Charlton because Charlton obviously got a load of player injury.
That's a big shock.
Not in form as well, Charlton. So to win at the City ground is a good result. So I think they do at home. They're pretty good. So, but as it's away, West Brom are very strong still. I'm gone for a 2-0 West Brom win.
You were right with that, weren't you? Because like 2 months ago, West Brom and Leeds were 10-15 points ahead. And now the top 8 or something separated by 6 points again, aren't they?
Yeah, Bristol City back in it, and I didn't think they would.
And I haven't finished second. Come on, Bristol City. Brentford up there too. Come on, the surprises.
Yeah.
And we move on to the second game is in League One. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff between Fleetwood and Peterborough United. Charlie, who have you gone for?
So, as I predicted at the beginning of the season, high scoring Peterborough, I think will. They score for fun. The problem is they leak quite a few at the other end.
They're right up there again now as well.
Second,
Peterborough in
third,
second, Fleetwood in 9th.
Yeah, so Fleetwood are just outside the playoffs. Joey Barton, for what you think of him? He got charged by the FA this week, didn't he? I think Peterborough will leak a few, but I think they just Ivan Toney and people like that just bad goals for fun. So up to this point, the highest scoring team in the league, I believe.
What was your score, sorry?
So I've gone for Fleetwood 2, Peterborough 4.
Wow, that's not far off mine because I've gone for Fleetwood 2, Peterborough 3.
Right.
So again, both teams in good form, both teams doing well. Peterborough have got themselves right back in contention. Ivan Toney, I mean, when's the last time
how's he not been sold?
Well, they've made him a promise, haven't they, if they don't go up this summer, so he'll be gone then. He made a debut on the EFL Quest show, so...
Good show.
Yeah, it's a really good show. Fleetwood have been in decent form themselves. I just think Peterborough, as you say, they leak goals, but they've got so much firepower, they're on fire, I just think they'll nick it by 1. So...
Fleetwood won the last 3 games, Peterborough won the last 5. So it's going to be a very tight game. I've gone for Fleetwood 1, Peterborough 3.
Yeah, we've all gone for high score.
Well, Fleetwood beat Wickham on the midweek.
When's the last time Wickham won a game?
Well, Wickham. since we done the prediction, since we went to their game, or we done the midweek prediction,
and said they're doing brilliantly. They've been awful.
They've been awful. So we've done Wickham a favour. I'm joking. No, but I think both teams are in good form.
I can see how though.
I can see goals in this as well. As I said, I don't know how Tony's not been sold during January. Obviously, they lost Marcus Madison.
But luckily for my predictions, he hasn't. Come on, Peterborough. I think I had him down for second actually. Or
you did second, second.
So Fleetwood 1, Peterborough 3. And the final game of this round, it's in League 2. It's CREWE Alexandria in second place against Plymouth Argyle, who are in 4th.
Is it Plymouth, isn't it?
It's at Plymouth, actually. Not CREWE.
Right, are you sure about that, mate?
Yeah, no, it's definitely at Plymouth for the third take. Yeah, Plymouth in 4th versus CREWE in second. I'm going to start this one off. I'm going to go for a CREWE win actually, 2-1. Now that the predictions changed.
Is that because you thought they were at home?
Yeah. No, CREWE, 4 wins out of the last 5. Plymouth 3 wins out of the last 5, but I'm still going to go with CREWE anyway. CREWE are in very good form. They beat Crawley midweek. Plymouth beat Salford actually, away from home, so that's a pretty good result. But I'm still going to go for a CREWE win 2-1.
Charlie Betts?
I have no basis on this apart from the fact it's a very long way to go, so I've gone for Plymouth 1, CREWE 1.
Very good. Thank you for that. Just scripted.
There's no point trying to waffle the bullshit.
Was that with the pools? Was it?
So I went for, rather controversially, Plymouth 0, CREWE 1. I say controversially because the last time I watched CREWE on the road, they lost 4-1 at Northampton a few months back.
Cobblers.
No, it's true.
Hey.
So yeah, CREWE, the last time I saw them were woeful on the road, but generally they've been good all season, so I'm going to go for them to nick it. Plymouth, I know they got a good result midweek, but I think they lost last weekend if I remember rightly. So I've just gone for CREWE to edge it, but as you say, it's 2 good sides and it probably again could go either way with the goal in it, but much lower scoring than the League One game.
And those are our predictions locked in. We'll find out next week if our scores are correct. And that is it for today's podcast. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And you can follow us on Twitter @HonestFootball3. And we'll see you next time.